All right, we're about to do something a little ambitious. Cover thousands of years of history in just a few minutes. Our goal? To get a handle on how one of the world's most vital and, let's be honest, complex regions came to be.
So, let's just jump right in. When you hear the words the Middle East, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's two totally different pictures, right? On one hand, you've got the cradle of civilization, and on the other, this modern crossroads of conflict. So which one is it?
Well, here's the thing, it's both. The answer is absolutely both. And the story of how that cradle of civilization became a crossroads of conflict, well, that's the story of the region itself. To really get it, we've got to go way, way back to the very beginning.
Our story starts right here, in what's known as the Fertile Crescent. Think ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt. I mean, this is where humanity basically wrote the playbook for, well, for society. We're talking about the first ever cities, the invention of writing, and creating complex legal codes. It all started here. Now, what you're seeing here isn't just a list of dates. It's a pattern. From the very first Sumerian cities all the way to the Roman Empire, power was like a baton in a relay race of conquest. Each new empire would come in, take over, and absorb the last one. This whole idea of empire gets baked right into the region's DNA.
Okay, so while the Romans are in charge, something else starts to bubble up. A new kind of force. One that would redefine not just the Middle East, but literally the entire world. And that was monotheistic religion, kicking off with Christianity.
And this is a huge deal. When the Roman Empire makes Christianity its official religion, it's not just about faith. No, this is a massive geopolitical move. It creates this powerful new identity for the West and basically draws a line in the sand. And that sets the stage for a major showdown between the two superpowers of the day. And what you're looking at here is the result of that showdown. It was a centuries-long slog. You have the Christian Byzantine Empire in the west and the Zoroastrian Sasanian Empire, that's the ancient Persian religion, in the east. They just fought each other to a standstill, to total exhaustion. Both empires were left completely shattered, and that created a perfect power vacuum, a historic opening for a brand new force that was about to explode out of the Arabian Peninsula. And into that void comes Islam. In the 7th century, the Prophet Muhammad's message unites the Arab tribes, and this unleashes one of the fastest, most successful conquests in all of human history. They just swept in and filled that power vacuum left by those tired old empires.
What follows is just remarkable. Under the Abbasid Caliphate, the region enters a true golden age. Their capital, Baghdad, becomes the global center for learning, for trade, for innovation. It was the bridge between East and West. And we're talking about incredible breakthroughs. The scholars in Baghdad's House of Wisdom didn't just save ancient Greek knowledge from being lost, they supercharged it. They gave the world things like algebra, huge advances in medicine, and some of the most beautiful literature ever written. But this golden age wasn't going to last forever. A serious threat was on the horizon.
So, things start to get shaky. The caliphate begins to crack and fragment from within, and at the same time it's facing pressure from the outside. The European Crusades, for example, were really disruptive, but something far, far more devastating was coming from the east, the Mongol invasions.
Remember this year, 1258. This is an absolutely critical turning point. When the Mongol armies stormed into Baghdad, they didn't just destroy buildings. They torched the libraries, burning centuries of irreplaceable accumulated knowledge. It was a single, devastating blow that ended the Abbasid Caliphate and ripped out the intellectual heart of the Islamic world. A true end of an era.
But, history keeps moving. And out of the ashes of that Mongol devastation, a new power begins to rise up in Anatolia, ready to unite the region once more. And that power was the Ottoman Empire.
And the rise was meteoric. They start as just a small Turkish state, but then, in 1453, they take Constantinople, which officially ends the Roman Empire. For good this time. For centuries, the Ottomans ruled this huge, diverse, multi-religious empire, and they brought a lot of stability. But then, they began this long, slow decline through the 18th and 19th centuries. They even got the nickname the sick man of Europe. And, when a giant gets sick, the vulture starts circling. In this case, it was the rising European powers.
All right, this is where the modern Middle East is really born, the final collapse of the Ottoman Empire in World War I. But the map that was about to be drawn, it wasn't going to be shaped by the people who actually lived there. Oh no, it was going to be drawn by foreign powers, each with their own secret agendas. And this right here is the absolute core of so many modern problems.
During World War I, Britain made a bunch of promises it had no intention of keeping. They told the Arabs, hey, help us fight the Ottomans, and you'll get your own independent kingdom. Then they told the Zionists, we support a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. And all the while, they had a secret backroom deal with France to just carve up all those Arab lands for themselves. These contradictory promises, they basically lit a fire that is still burning to this very day.
So after the war, they went ahead with that secret plan. You have European diplomats with a ruler and a pen just drawing straight lines on a map. And boom, you get the modern states of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan. The problem was, these lines paid zero attention to who actually lived there, to the different ethnic and religious groups. They just crammed rival groups together inside these new artificial borders, creating this deep-seated instability that, frankly, still haunts the region. So what happens next? The post-colonial era is all about a struggle for identity and power. You have these brand new nations trying to figure out who they are and how to stand on their own 2 feet on the world stage. And this struggle leads to a series of, well, seismic events that just seem to accelerate as we get closer to today.
And the 20th century just unfolds in one shockwave after another. You have the creation of Israel in 1948, which kicks off the First Arab-Israeli War. Then, 1979, the Iranian Revolution completely redraws the political and religious map. Fast forward to 1991, the Gulf War marks the beginning of a long U.S. military presence. Then 2003, the invasion of Iraq topples Saddam Hussein but unleashes a brutal sectarian war. And all of this leads up to 2011 and the Arab Spring, uprisings that challenged old rulers but often led to even more conflict, like the devastating civil war in Syria. You see how each event just stacks on top of the last, adding another layer of complexity.
So where does that leave us today? Well, the Middle East now is what you'd call a multipolar landscape. There's no single big boss anymore. Instead, you've got this complex chess game, a competition for influence between the big regional powers. We're talking Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey.
And yet, just when you think you have it figured out, things change. New alignments are forming. Look at the Abraham Accords in 2020. This was huge. Several Arab nations normalized relations with Israel. It just goes to show you that even the most deeply entrenched conflicts can shift, especially when there are shared interests at play, like new economic goals or a common concern about Iran's growing influence.
So, after all these millennia of empires, innovations, and interventions, the region is still at a crossroads. And the big question remains, will its future be defined by the conflicts of its past or by the incredible, rich potential of its people? What's so crucial to remember is that the Middle East isn't just one story. It's a place of countless stories, of empires, innovations, faiths, and cultures, all layered on top of one another. And understanding those layers, well, that's the first step to understanding its complex present and its still unwritten future.